Gamel.
So where you at?
Okay, right on the little alphabet thing.
Okay.
All right. We're just going to say these things. Now I want you to see, see the B? All right. It's a B and a V. What is that from? Here.
If half a wine, it's okay.
That'll help a little bit. Let's start over again. Olive. Now what's the sound of it? Silent. Okay. Beth. Okay. It's a B and a what? And a V sound. All right. And Gamel. All right. And it is a G and a what? A GH sound. All right. And a Dalet. And it's a D and a DH sound. Okay. And then we have a hey. All right. And basically it's an H. Okay. And that one's the one that's the in the front of words. All right. Hashimaim, Ha'adam, all of those things. And then we have the word wow, or as modern Hebrew is ba. All right. And it has a W or a D sound. Okay. Now let me explain it just a little bit because this might be confusing for those out there and some of you. Okay. Biblical Hebrew is old. That goes back 1,000 years at least. Modern Hebrew, spoken by the Hebrews and the Jewish, only goes back about 100 years. Okay? Now they take strong objection to the biblical Hebrew. Well, the biblical scholars, the biblical Hebrew scholars, take strong objections to the modern Hebrew. They call it Yiddish, which it probably is. Okay? By J. Lewis Guthrie and all them, they wouldn't even consider modern Hebrew, and even they say those Jews don't know how to even talk their language. Okay, but we do use it today. Okay, this is the first time in my life that I have taught Hebrew like the modern Hebrews. Okay, and I'm only doing that so you can listen to some of these Jews. You know, they talk on the Zola Levitt and some of the other ones. You know, Zola's gone, but there's quite a few other ones. But I'm giving you both stands of this. But if you take the biblical Hebrew scholar side of it, the modern Hebrew is Yiddish. It is not Hebrew. Okay? But I want you to know that when I read it to you, it's going to be like modern Hebrew, okay? So you can understand it. You can hear a rabbi today, and you can understand what he's saying. That's the only reason I'm doing it. I'm not saying the Yiddish is right, okay? What I'm saying is we're just conforming to the modern Hebrew, okay? Because the biblical Hebrew grammars and this language goes back to biblical times. And modern Hebrew only started about the last 100 years, okay? Okay, now Wa and Ba, okay? And then Zion, okay, that's like a Z. And then we have the word Heth. All right, now it's Heth in biblical Hebrew. It is Cheth in modern Hebrew. Cheth. Cheth or Heth, okay? None of your biblical Brown Driver and Briggs, your Davidson, none of these are going to agree with your modern Hebrew. I want you to understand that. It's not going to be Cheth, it's going to be Heth. All right? So you'll know the difference. And then Teth. All right, that's like a T, okay? And then we have the word Yod. Yod, and that's like a Y. And then we have the word Koth. All right, now in the Koth, look over to your left there. Now we've got two Koths, don't we? One of them that looks like this, and then one that is a final like this, like an F without the little did in it, okay? And it is K, and it is KH. The soft is KH, okay? And then we have the word Lamet. All right, Lamet, and that's an L. That's real easy. And then we have the word Maim. Now look over to the left on Maim. Now what do you see there? You've got a maim and a final maim. Just like in Old English, you had an S and a final S. So you have a final in this one. One of them looks like a one of them is like this, and the other one, I write it in the that looks like that. All right.
They call it a Sophie nowadays.
A what?
Where'd that name come from?
I can't hear you.
Mem Sophie. The final is how they pronounce it.
Oh, it's just a final. Mem final. Mem final.
So that's what Sophie means?
Yeah.
Okay.
Mem final. Okay. Now, neen. Neen. Or noon. Okay. That's an and. And it has an and a final and, or a neen and a final neen. We have one that looks like this, as I printed, and then one that goes like this. Okay? Two different ones. All right. And then a psalmic. The psalmic looks like a lot like the final maim. All right? And that's why I make the psalmic look like this instead of like, you can't hardly tell them apart if you put them, just both of them, they just both look like that almost. But I make mine look like this, the maim, and the psalmic looks like that. All right? The psalmic. Let's look at that psalmic. Now that's an S, and then we have an ion. An ion. All right? Ion. And that's what? It's silent. Okay. It's silent.
I don't understand what you mean by silent.
Silent. It isn't pronounced. The vowel shows you how to pronounce it. The vowel will show you how to pronounce it. I don't want to confuse you too much now. I'm going to teach you more of the Bible than we are going to teach you the Hebrew, okay? We're just playing with Hebrew. All right, and then we have pay. Pay. Now that is a P sound and a PH. We have a hard P and then a PH sound, like a like Philistine, all right? Philistine instead of Philistine, all right? And we have a final that looks like this, and then you have the pay that looks like that, okay? And the pay, now look over there, and this will help you to remember what it is. What does it look like? The pay. Mouth. With the tongue in it, see that? Basically, there isn't much difference between this one and the cough either. They're real close like, okay? And the printing, you can't tell them apart. In a lot of the Bibles, it's very hard to tell them apart. Then we have the word sadhe. Sadhe. All right? Sadhe it's got a final and a regular one. All right? Sadhe. All right? And then we have the word kof. Kof. Kof and cough, see the difference? They're very close to each other, okay? Kof and cough. All right? Both of them are K. And then what's the next one? Resh. Resh. That's the R. That's a pretty easy one. Like that. Okay? Resh. You don't have two of them, just one of them. Then you have sin and shin. Anytime you see sin and shin, they look the same except the dot is on the left side of the sin and the dot is on the right side of the shin. And in modern Hebrew, they have them backwards. They have shin sin instead of sin shin. Okay? I thought I'd tell you that. Is that what they tell you in the modern Hebrew, Brother Randall?
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Now, I do know modern Hebrew, but I just never played with it. This is the first time that I've ever actually even introduced it with the biblical Hebrew, because no one else even uses it. They don't even consider it at all. They won't consider modern Hebrew at all. And then the last one is what? Tau. All right. And what kind of sound does it have? A T and a TH. A T and a TH. It's got a hard sound, a T, and the soft sound is a TH. All right? Now, you can go, if you want, I don't want to bore you with this a whole lot, okay? Because I want to teach you the Bible. But if you go back to your little deal like this with the vowels, like Randall wrote up here on the board tonight, like these, and this one here like this, This is it. You can see them. All right? Now, this is how you figure out how you say the word. I'm just going to say that to you, okay? We're not going to go into it. I'm just going to say this. So you can look at it so you know that you got it there, okay? And a pata, all right? The pata, comets, sigo, hirek, sesari, hirek, yod, sesad, yod, comets, hataf, kibbutz, halam, all right? Effective and thul, and shurek, and a whole lot of the others. Now, that's enough, okay? We'll just jump over that one for right now. You can go back and look at that one a little bit more on your own, okay? All right, 419. 419. We'll read this, and I'll read it to you, and you read it with me, and then I'll help you write it down, and then we're going to look and see what the Bible says, okay? 419. Vayikach. Vayikach. Okay, it's Vayikach, and then loaf. Now, it's L-O in biblical Hebrew. The modern Hebrew put a V on the end of it, so you say loaf. All right? Loaf. L-O-V. And then Lamech. L-E-M-E-C-H. Lamech. All right? And then we have the word shetei. Shetei, say shetei. It's S-H-E-T-E-I. Shetei is two, by the way. Shetei. All right. And then Nashim. N-A-S-H-I-M. And then the word Shem. Shem means what? Name or monument. Shem. All right, S-H-E-M. Yeah, we're right in the center on the second line. Okay? And then we have the word ha-a-chat. Ha-a-chat. Remember I told you about the hay there, the ha? That's the in Hebrew. Ha-a-chat. H-A-A-C-H-A-T. Okay? And we got some names here. This is pretty neat. We're going to study about the origin of the races pretty soon. Okay? The next one is Adah. Adah. A-D-A-H. That's the third line down to the right-hand side. And then Bisham. Bisham. In old biblical Hebrew, it would be Wisham. But modern is Bisham. All right? B-E-S-H-E-M. I don't know anybody that teaches both of these things. I'm the only one I ever knew. The modern Hebrews swear up and down the biblical Hebrew know what they're talking about, and the biblical Hebrew know that the modern Hebrew don't know what they're talking about. It's simple as that. All right. H-A-Ha-Shinit. H-A-S-H-E-N-I-T. Hashinet. All right. And then the last one, Tizillah. Tizillah. And I didn't really write. Tizillah is T-Z-I-L-L-A-H. Now, I put more of an I in down there than a top. So if you want to write over yours and make it, it looks just kind of like this. I didn't make it really good enough. It should be like that. This is what it should be like. So you can just put a tail on that just a little bit. Okay?
Where are you at right now?
The last word.
Right here?
Yeah, the last word.
Over here?
No, the last word.
Oh,
Right down here. That one right there.
Oh, okay.
See that one right there? Just put a tail on where it goes back around.
Can you spell that again, Jan?
What?
The last word?
The last word is T-Z-I-L-L-A-H. It's got a double L in there. See that? See that dot in the middle of the L?
Spell it again.
T-Z-I-L-L-A-H. Tizillah.
I don't know who wrote this, but he doesn't spell like that.
Oh, Zillah. I put the translation down. In the Bible, it'll have Zillah down there.
Yeah.
What I'm giving you now is the Hebrew way to say it. That is the translation below it. What I'm giving you is the Hebrew. Okay? Tizillah. Now let's go back. Vayikach. Say that. Vayikach. And took, all right, it's third person masculine singular, cal, wow, consecutive, imperfect, and took for himself, all right, and took for himself Lamech. Remember, this is what I told you, Lamech. Vayikah Rov Lamech, and took for himself Lamech. And what does Lamech mean? Lamech. It's got a double meaning, remember?
Two.
What does it mean?
Two.
No, that's Sheteh.
You got rebel over here.
Okay, rebel. It means overthrower. It means conqueror. It means one who conquers, but also that means Lord. All right, Lord of Lords. The conqueror. He is the Lord of Lords. Adonai is a whole lot related to this word Lamech. Okay? Lamech. That's on page 541. I put down wild man, rebel, overthrower, but it also means king of kings. Lamech. All right? And the word Sheteh, Shana, means what? Huh? Two. All right? Or year. And Shati, all right, as we have here, is two. Shati is two. All right, two. That means it has the idea of division. Is what it has. You have one, and now you have two. Okay, two. And Lamech took for himself two Nashim. 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 Wives, women. This is the first guy in the Bible that has two wives. All right, the first polygamist in the Bible. This is him. All right? And then we have the word Shem. Shem means name. Shem means name or monument. All right? What is the word in Greek for name? You remember, anybody? What's the word for name in Greek? Onomati. We got our word law from that. By law, you have a certain name. Nomos is law. Onomati, name. Okay? All right, here we have the word Shem, name. Ha-cha'at. All right? Of the one, ha, look at that word ha in there. Ha-atat. The one, all right? The one, Ada. Ada. All right, Ada. Now, what does Ada mean? What do I have written down there? Is anything written down? What is it?
Ornament.
Ornament. All right, ornament. Ada's name, Ada means ornament. Okay, ornament. Something beautiful is an ornament. Okay? And then it says Vishem, and then, or Washem, Wisham, or Vishem, either way you want to say it. Old Biblical Hebrew is Washem, modern Hebrew is Vishem. How'd you like that? Both of them. And name Ha-Shinit, the second, and name the second Tizillah. All right, Tizillah. Now let's look at her name. Her name is, there used to be a woman on television a long time ago that had the horror movies. You know, she was dressed all in black, and she remember that what was her
Black
name?
hair.
What is it?
Elvira.
Elvira, that's it, Elvira. Elvira, the woman in black, the woman of darkness. That's what Zillah means. Woman of darkness,
So are you
the shadow of terror.
one was beautiful and one...
Well, one of them is named the ornament, and the other one means darkness, terror, shadows. Okay, that's what Zillah means. It's shadow or terror or darkness. Okay, like Elvira. Okay, she always had spooky movies on. Remember, she was talking about spooky movies. Well, here we have Elvira here. Okay, Zillah. All right, Zillah.
That means you're so ugly, she's scared.
I don't know. She must have, you know, some of these women have this dark hair and all this dark eyeshadow and everything else. You know, that's what it's talking about, okay? That's the way she was. She was a dark woman. Darkness, okay? A woman of darkness. In the modern, they call it what? What do they call them, Mark, Dakota? What do they call these modern ones? The modern, what do they call this? They have a name for it. Gothic? Gothic. Okay, the Gothic look. Here was the original Gothic look right here, Zillah. All right, Zillah is the original Gothic girl.
Okay, I want to ask you, what is Delilah then? That's part two, isn't it?
That Lila means light or darkness, night. I mean night. Yeah, light.
Okay.
Okay. Night. Okay, now we start on 4 and verse 20. Are you over to 4 and 20 now? Flip over to 4 and 20. I'll jump up and get you here. All right. Vatiled. Can you say that? Vatiled. V-A-T-T-E-L-E-D. Vatiled. All right. Now they'll kind of swallow that. Vatiled. It'll sound like vatiled. Okay, in modern Hebrew. Okay, vatiled. Adah. What's the next one word? Come on. What's this next word? Et. All right. Thank you, Brother John. I knew you'd have it. All right. And then Yabal. Yabal. See that one? Yabal. It's Y-A-B-A-L. Or Yabal. Okay. Yabal. Yabal. And then we have the word Hu. Hu, H-U, is the next line down. Hayah. H-A-Y-A-H. Hayah. And then Avi. Avi is A-V-I. Yoshev. Y-O-S-H-E-V. Yoshev. Now that looks like a little bitty short word to say all that, doesn't it? It's all the vowels in it, doesn't it? Okay, Yoshev. And then Ohel. Third line down. Ohel. O-H-E-L. And then Umikneh. Umikneh. All right. U-M-I-K-N-E-H. Umikneh. Let's look at it now. And brought forth. The idea here is Vataled is to a woman carries a child and all of a sudden it pops forth, it is born into the world. Shot out. All right, brought forth. All right, the child is brought forth. It has the full gestation period and she has this child. Okay, that's the idea in Hebrew. Okay. And brought forth, third person feminine singular, cow, wow, consecutive, and perfect. Okay? Adah. Adah. Say Adah.
Yeah.
All right. Adah. It's more like Adah. All right? And then Et. Et, that's Et's what? Sign of the direct object. You can look that one up on page 84. What is the Greek equivalent to Et? Remember? Ace. Ace. Epsilon iota sigma. It looks just like this in English, and you can say it in English just the same way. It doesn't look any different. It's Et in Hebrew. And see, that's what gives you the Et right there. Et and Ace. All right. Et. Yabal. All right. Yabal. Now, Jabal is who this is. Jabal. Jabal. J-A-B-A-L. This is Jabal. And what does Jabal mean? What's Jabal? It means literally to flow with violence. It means nomadic. It means moving, flowing. All right? That's what Jabal means. Jabal. All right? And Jabal was born somewhere around 3870 B.C. That's a long time ago, by the way. 3870 B.C. Now here we have the polygamy did not start in the faith line. Here we have the line of Cain, don't we? This is the line of Cain. Now these rascals are all gone today. Did you know that? They're no longer on the earth. But they did do some pretty neat things when they were here. They invented a lot of things. The line of Cain, back over here before the flood, all right? The line of Cain before the flood and the line of Ham after the flood, there are many things that are very similar to them. Now here's a little extra reading for you if you want. Okay? This book is Noah's 3 sons. Now, like I said, now this line is gone. Okay? This line that we're talking about, Cain's line, is gone. But Ham's descendants, Ham, Shem, and Japheth, Ham's descendants did a whole lot of the same things that Cain's descendants did before the flood. Now, this book is by Arthur C. Cusson. It's called The Doorway Papers. There's like 10 volumes of this, okay? If you want to write this down, I'm going to put this on camera so that people out there can see it. Noah's 3 Sons by Arthur C. Constance. This tells you, later on, you're going to see some of the same inventions that they were doing. And this book is just filled with the different things that they did. Okay? The Hamite people. The Hamites invented more things than any other race. Did you know that? The Hamites invented it. The Japhethites perfected it. And the Shemites made money on it. That's the truth. That's the way it is. The Hamites invented it, the Japhethites perfected it, and the Shemites, the Jews, made money on it. Simple as that. Because the Jews were going to be blessed with wealth. We know that. God said He would do that. All right. And brought forth Jabal, moving nomad, to flow with violence, and Hugh, Hayah, and he became Abi, father. Abi. Remember Abraham? How do you say Abba, Father? What does Abba, Father mean? Abba, Father? Father, Father. Abba, Abba, Abi, Abi. Okay? Abi, Father. And he became Father. Yoshev. It means dwellers. That word means to sit. What is the word to sit in Greek? To sit or place. Histemi. All right, histemi. This is the word shev. It means dwellers, people that sit down and dwell. These are people. Now this fella here, Jabal became the dwellers. All right, the sitters. All right, dwellers in tents. They dwelled. They sat. They lived in tents. Now, what kind of a tent is a? What is a tent? Oh, hell. What is a tent? That's a portable motorhome, isn't it? Yeah, that's what it is. Teepee is the first mobile home. These are the first mobile homes. All right, that's what they are. Isn't this interesting? These people were nomadic. They were what they call full-time what? RVers. Full-time RVers. That's what these guys are. Full-time RVers. Now, they have the first mobile homes. They're going and they're moving their teepees, their tents from place to place. If you saw the movie Grass, that's exactly the way they live. They carry their homes with them. They dwelled, they sat down in tents. And tents are mobile homes. Okay? You go home and tell Connie about the first RVers, okay? All right.
Did they use camel power?
Well, they use donkey and camel power, yeah, and even cow power. Yeah. These were the first cow palaces, carried by cows. All right, they would load the cows now with these mobile homes now. Okay. They were dwellers in Ohel in tents. Okay. And Umeknah. Now, Randall, did you look that word Umeknah up? What does that mean? Do you remember? They were cowboys and shepherds. There were cowboys and shepherds. Now, when people are nomadic, they follow their herds. And the herds follow the grass. All right? The herds follow the grass. So these are nomads. Is this pretty neat? All right? These are nomadic. They dwelled in RVs. All right? They were full-time RVers. These teepees or these tents were the first mobile homes, okay? So when you saw the Plains Indians, they are nomadic, okay? They are nomads. They moved around. They followed the buffalo herds, and they followed the fruit and the vegetables and the roots, all right? Now let's go to 21. Let's go to 21. Let's look at it. Number 21. Washem or Bishem. Okay, whichever one you want to say it. Bishem. Beshem. Bishem. Say that. Bishem. Achieve. Achieve is A-C-H-I-V. Achieve. That means brother. Okay, Achieve. Yuval. Yuval. Can you say Yuval? That's Jabal. Yuval. Y-U-V-A-L. Now see that base in there? That base is a salt base, so we're going to turn that base into a V. Okay? Yuval, Y-U-V-A-L, and then the word Hugh. All right? Now this letter like this, that's a U. Okay? That turns into a U. All right? Hugh. Hugh, and then we have the word Hayah. Hayah. Say that one. Hayah. That's a very important word, Hayah. H-A-Y-A-H. Hayah. What is this root of? What word is this the root of? Very important word in the Bible. Huh? Jehovah. Jehovah. That's the root of the word Jehovah right there. So now you know what that means, don't you? We had the root of it in the last sentence also. And then we have Haya, Avi. Avi, A-V-I. Avi. Remember what Avi means? Father. Avi. Avi. Abba. Father. Kol. Third line down, Kol. K-O-L. And then, what's this next one? Do you know how to say that, Randall? How do you say this next one? Tefes. Tefes. T-E-F-E-S. Tefes. Tefes. T-E-F-E-S. Tefes. All right. And then, what's this next one here? Do you have that one? Kinover. 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 Kinover is a harp. Kinover. All right? Kinover. K-I-N-N-O-V-R. Kinover.
Now, where are you at now?
I'm on the third line down, and there's Kol, Tefes, Kinover. Kol, Tefes, Kinover. And then Viyugav. 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 V-E-U-G-A-V. That's the last word on that in that sentence, all right? Let's look at it. I'll read it real fast for you. Vashem, Akiv, Yuval, Hu, Haya, Avi, Kol, Tefes, Kenover, Viyugav. Viyugav. All right, now let's go back and look at it. And name. See that word Vishem? Ve is name. It is and then name. And name. Akiv, his brother. Yuval. And Hugh. Hugh means, and Jubal. And Jubal, he became, all right, became Hayah. Now, those that when you run into Jehovah's Witnesses and stuff, you need to realize that what this word Hayah means. It always means became, all right? And then John 1:14 is fulfillment of the Jehovah title, okay? All right? He became Abi. He became father. Kol means what? Kol means all. All right. Kol means all. Tefes. Tefes means playing or grasping. The ones grabbing are playing, and what do you do with a guitar? What do you do with a guitar? You pluck it. You pluck it, don't you? You grab the strings. A harp, what do you do with a harp? You grab the strings. You pluck the strings. You grab them. All right? That's what it means right there. It's literally drawing you a picture. The ones grasping are seizing the string. Seizing the harp or the lyre. Okay? The harp or the lyre. many years ago, now I have it written down here just a little bit, but originally the prostitutes carried these musical instruments and they would play these. You could find one just by hearing where she was. All right, and they had 7 strings on these, and that's what they carried. These prostitutes carried a 7-string harp, and you would hear them playing these harps. And in Greek mythology, what do they have out here? These sirens. Remember that? What was the name of that island where they had the sirens out there? You remember that? And they would lure the sailors over there and their ships. They would hear them, this beautiful sounding music, and these sirens would lure them into this area and they would go to destruction. Okay? And that's where a lot of this idea came from, is right here. All right, and V-U-Gov. V-U-Gov. And what is V? V is what? V is and. All right, what is a U-Gov? The U-Gov. That's a flute or a reed pipe. Later on it's any kind of a wind instrument, all right, something you blow. All right. And now here we have the father of all the musicians. Now, Randall, you play a trumpet,
Trombone.
a trombone, and you play a violin and a guitar, and what else?
I think I got a harmonica stuffed away in the drawer.
All right, now that's a wind instrument. So you playing the plucked instruments, all right, and the ones that with the strings. Now, even a violin, when you pull the horsehair bow over it, it plucks the strings. You may not know it, but it's got those tiny little bitty things that make it. And I tell you what, people who don't know how to play violin can make one sound awfully bad, can't they? That is the most horrible sounding instrument in this world. It sounds like somebody grabbed a cat and skinned him alive.
That's why I gave it up.
What did you give it up?
Went to guitar instead.
Yeah. Well, I had one friend of mine. He's a country and western player, and he started playing the violin one time, and he got his friend on the phone. He said, "I want you to listen to this." He played the violin a little bit. He thought he was doing pretty good, and he said, "That sounds like so-and-so playing." He said, "I sold it." He didn't want to sound like this other guy, because it sounded like somebody skinning the cat alive. You know? Well, even a violin, you pull the horsehair bow across it, and it's actually plucking the strings, scratching the strings, plucking. Okay? So now we have wind instruments and plucked instruments. We have stringed instruments and we have wind instruments here. Now, all of the original musical instrument players were on the wrong side of the fence, let's put it that way. They invented, Cain's descendants invented musical instruments. It tells us that, okay? And then we have Ham's descendants. We're going to find later on they're doing the same thing. They're great inventors, okay? Great inventors. Now, if you read the book of Enoch, how many of you read the book of Enoch or read at it? All right. Quite a book, isn't it?
Sure to me, I can't even remember what it said.
Well, now, in the book of Enoch, it tells you about these people. It tells you about them, what they did. That they were great musicians. Great. I mean, they really... musical instruments can do one or two things. We can praise God, or we can absolutely appeal to the flesh. Can't we? Well, is that right? I used to know I know a lot of musicians. So over the years, I've been really acquainted because I worked on musical instruments and bent violins and guitars and banjos and all kinds of things. Steel guitar, all of this. But I talked to a lot of musicians over the world, over the last 40, 50 years. And one of the things that the musicians say, they like to work the crowds. You know what I'm talking about? Work the crowds. What do you mean by working a crowd? Randall, you know what? When you work a crowd, what do? You get a crowd all excited. Now, you get them involved. Get them involved to where they'll just they're carried away with it. Okay? Now let's look at it. Out in the world, in the football games and all this kind of stuff, people will get up there in the soccer games and are beating on each other. The people out on the field are beating on each other, and the people in the stadiums are beating on each other. Now, do you think they're involved? I think they were involved, all right? And then in the musical field, how many of you ever heard of Woodstock?
Oh, yeah.
You heard of Woodstock?
Oh, yeah.
That's why all them crazy hippies went out there and they were smoking their dope, and they were all caught up for weeks with this music and just letting it all hang out and just going the way of the flesh. The way of the flesh. Okay? Now, Randall used to be in the orchestra for quite a while, didn't you, Randall?
About 10 years.
10 years. All right. And you were, Brother Brady was your orchestra leader there for a while, wasn't he? Or no? What did he do?
He led the music over at Hillcrest years ago.
Okay. Okay, he led the music service over there. Okay. And you try to keep the people in line. You kind of get them going the right way. You can either go wild to the wild side, or you can go to the spiritual side. Now, music really should be able to lift up hearts up to God, too, shouldn't it? Huh? All right, it should be able to lift our hearts up to God and get us in tune with God. And when we play music, we are praising God. But you have to be really careful which way you go. You can also go the other way, and you can control the masses with music. How many people are just glued to their iPods? Is that what you call it, iPod? iPods. They just absolutely are glued to their iPods. Now, what I like to see when people are glued to the iPods when they're learning something. Brother Randall came to me and told me, "Boy, I've got all of your church history classes on this iPod right here." Like that. I'm listening to this. And people are doing that. Troy, back in Mississippi, Alabama, back in there, he's recording and putting things on iPods and listening to it. And you can listen to good church music. If you haven't done this, go to discovertheword.com. Go down there and listen to the radio station that Kevin has. You can download some of that music. And I mean to tell you, we listened to that one day. Remember, Marilyn? We wanted to listen to that music, and what did it do to us? We were standing there crying and singing with it. That wasn't to the flesh. That's to the spirit. Okay? That's good. That's good. You can have good music and you can have worldly music. Brother John.
After the flood, David performed that type of music.
That's right. Here we have David playing an instrument later on. But who invented those instruments? The Hamite line.
Mm-hmm.
And the line of Cain invented them. They invented them for the bad. Okay? But the Lord's people learned to use them for the good. And David was one of them. All right? He learned it. But originally they were to control the masses. In these ancient, like down in the pyramids in South America and over there in Egypt and everything else, do you know how people worked? A lot of times they would play music and they'd work with music. Brother Rex, I bet your family, I bet they sang a lot when they were working, didn't they?
Yeah, I think
Yeah. People have always labored, and music makes the burden lighter. Okay? Music, we're going off the track here, but I want you to understand this. This is where this is coming from. How many of you ever picked cotton? Only a few. You ever pick cotton, David? No. Okay, I picked cotton.
You don't know what you missed.
Oh, it is. You guys don't know what you've missed. Randall, you ever pick cotton? No. You milked cow, didn't you? Oh, you never milked cow?
I missed out on all that.
All right. Missed all of the fun. Out in the cotton fields, this is what I liked. We'd go out in the cotton fields, and my grandmother was like a jukebox. Whatever she heard, she could sing. She heard it one time, she could sing it. And she'd get out there, and the black people would sing. Now, out in the cotton fields, it's pretty miserable, people. It's miserable. But they get out there, and they would sing. You remember when they used to sing? And I mean, they'd be singing across the field. This is the best church choir I ever heard in my life. I'm telling you. Swing Low, Sweet Chariot. All of these things. home and glory land. They're singing this with all of their heart. I mean, they're out there in the cotton fields picking cotton, singing with their hearts. Now this is, I'm going to tell you something. They sung themselves into glory because there wasn't any glory down there. But they sung themselves into glory. I used to love that. I used to just love to go out to cotton field. Of course, I was a little bitty guy, you know, before I started picking cotton. I picked cotton right on the farm where I lived. Right out there on that farm, I picked cotton. I wasn't the owner. Get up there, boy. Dump that sack and stomp on it. You know, that's the kind of guy. I was the guy, you know, guy out there dragging the sacks. When I was little, they drugged me on the cotton sack. Just one more thing from my poor old grandma to pull. I was sitting on the cotton sack, taking a nap on the cotton sack, trying to keep the bugs off of it, everything else, the mosquitoes and everything. You know, there were skeeters in them there tall cotton, you know. But they would be singing themselves into glory. We have seen the people here that invented music. Okay? Now back in, if you go to Ezekiel 28 and Isaiah 14, what did Lucifer do? According to those verses.
Was he the choir director?
He was like a choir director. It says his pipes were beautiful, and his vocal cords were beautiful. He sang beautifully. And we talk about the chorus, the Hallelujah chorus in the book of Revelation. Think about that. Brother John, you'd be playing your guitar up there in heaven, you know, all kinds of music. Beautiful. Praise music.
We've sang that in the choir at church. That's a beautiful chorus.
Yeah. Beautiful chorus. All right. Are you ready to quit? You want one more verse? One more verse. All right. 422. We'll give you one more. 422. The instruments have been invented. All right. Now let's go on here. Bet Zillah. Say Bet Zillah. Vetzillah. Gam. 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 Hiv. Come on, you guys. Let's talk this. Say this with me. Hiv. Hiv. And then Yaledah. 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 And then Et. See there, you can see that Et. Tubal. Tubal. Tuval. Tubal. Cain. Cain. Kayin. Cain. Lotesh. Lotesh. Lotesh.
Are you on the third line there?
Second line. Now I'm going down to the third line. The second word, the next word there, see that little word out there? That is call, and call means what? All. All right. All right. Call, K-O-L, and then Koresh, Choresh. All right. Here we have the het or the chet. Remember the difference in that one. Here we're going to use it Choresh. All right. Choresh, C-H-R-O-E-S-H. And then Nechoshet, Nechoshet, N-E-C-H-O-S-H-E-T, Nechoshet, and U-Barzel, 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 U-B-A-R-Z-E-L. What's that next, the last line on there? Brother Randall, you know how to say that word? Ba'atobet. In biblical Hebrew, it would be Ba'achot. Ba'achot. All right? And then we have Tubal. T-U-B-A-L. Tubal. Cain. K-A-Y-I-N.
Where are you at?
The last line.
Okay.
Okay. Tubal.
Second word.
And then Cain. Tubal, Cain. Na'amah. 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 Okay, is the last word. Naamah or Namah. N-A-A-M-A-H. All right, let's go and look at this one now. And Zillah. Bet Zillah. And Zillah. See that word there? Or wet Zillah or Bet Zillah. And Zillah. Gam also. Gam is also. Hib. She. Yaladi. Yaladi. She brought forth. She brought forth. Remember, she brought forth when full term came. She brought forth. Et. Sign of the direct object. What's the equivalent of that in Hebrew? Greek. Et is ace. Okay. Tubal. Tubal. Tubal Cain. Tubal Cain. Now here you see Tubal Cain. Okay. Tubal Cain. Tubal Cain. Lotesh. A hammerer. This guy is a blacksmith. Here's a blacksmith, the first blacksmith. By the name, everybody by the name of Smith at one time in the English language came from a family of blacksmiths. Did you know that? How many of you knew that? Was your name Smith?
My mother's was.
Your mother's name was Smith? They came from blacksmiths. They were blacksmiths. So now Tubal Cain is the inventor or the father of all metalworkers. All right? He's a welder. Now, at one time, back in the early days of the oil fields out here, when they had all the old standard derricks and everything, I even used to work on those standard derricks. But on every standard derrick, there was a blacksmith shop. Because all of the tools that they did, they had to put them in a great big forge, and they had great big sledgehammers, and they would heat this metal up, and when they'd wear a bit out, they would take fresh metal. And what's borax used for? Flux. It makes a stick. They had to have borax around there, and they would take this metal, like a big piece of metal like this, they'd stick it in the borax, they would pull it out of the forge, they would stick it in the borax, and they'd take it on there, and a guy would be beating this metal and making it into one piece, because they didn't have welders yet. Remember that, Brother Rex? Back in those times. So now here is the first man that is a blacksmith. All right? The first sharpener, the first hammerer. Remember, in Israel there was no blacksmith, so they had to go to the Philistines to get them to sharpen their swords and their plowshares and all this stuff. All right? Here we have a metalworker. And this is about 3800 BC. 3800 BC, okay? Kal, that means every, of every choresh, tool sharpener, and then we have the word nachoshet. Nachoshet is copper. Copper, and ubazel is iron. We have copper and iron. And when you put copper and iron together, what do you have? Bronze. Brass and iron. All right, bronze. Okay? So now this is what we call the Bronze Age. If you want to go back into archaeology and anthropology, this is the Bronze Age. Okay? Iron Age and Bronze Age. Ba-a-chost. All right? And the sister of Tubal Cain. Now here we got a woman. Now this is very unusual in the Bible for him to even mention a woman. All right? But here we have got the sister of Tubal Cain, Naamah. All right? Namah or Naamah. All right? Now what's her name mean?
Beautiful.
Beautiful, pleasant. All right? Her name means beautiful or pleasant. For some reason, this was a nice-looking girl and she was pleasant. Okay? All right. Is that enough for today? Is that enough, Brother John?
My mother's name was Black Lock.
What?
Black Lock.
Blacklock?
That's not biblical, is it? Not like Smith.
Blacklock.
Mm-hmm.
That's got to be
It's from England.
from England. All right? Blacklock. Every name, if you go back and you study the etymology, which means the history of that name, if you go back, you'll find out it came from something. All right? And a lot of the names that we have today come from this period of time right here. Naaman, Nama. All right? All of these words come from Tubal Cain. We have Cain and Tubal Cain. All right? Tubal Cain. Any other? Brother Randall? Got anything?
Why did it mention the sister?
Evidently she was special. For some reason, she was beautiful. whatever. I don't know. But her name is mentioned, and very seldom do they ever have anybody mentioned like that. But here we have this girl mentioned, Naamah. Oh, that's not Mom. All right. We ready to go out in the world and do something eternal? Brother John, you got any more questions? Shirley, last week Shirley asked a question, and it went on for 30 more minutes after you guys left. And I wish I'd have had it on the tape, because out in the world they probably would have liked it. Brother John.
I was reading a commentary on Genesis, and kind of interesting that Lamech is the seventh from
Yes.
Adam
Yes.
in the line of Cain,
Uh-huh.
and Enoch is the seventh from Adam in the line of Seth.
That's right.
Two different, one.
Two different ones. Two different times. You have to realize this is the line of the flesh, and then we have the line. We're going to go into the line of the heirs of the kingdom of God. But it doesn't say that they ever invented anything. The Cainites, Cain's people, I'm talking about the ones before the flood now, not later. These are not the Canaanites over here in the land, all right? Even though their name was Cain too, over there. Don't get them mixed up. You got to keep these here. We're over here before the flood, okay? The ones before the flood invented all kinds of neat things, and then the ones after the flood, the line of the Canaanites over here in this land, and the Hamites, the Ham's descendants. And who were some of Ham's descendants? We're kind of jumping the gun a little bit. Or who were they? Who were the greatest civilization known in the Middle East?
Egypt.
Egypt. Very good. They had all kinds of stuff in Egypt. Great buildings and everything else. Those were the line of Cain. Those were the Hamite lines.
Cain's descendants were destroyed
At the flood. Yes.
Okay, where did these people come from? Iraq and Iran and the Islam people? I always used to think they were from Cain.
No.
Maybe.
No. These people are all destroyed. All of these people back that we're talking about right now, they made some inventions. They invented the musical instruments. They invented metallurgy. They invented blacksmiths and all this stuff. This is what they were. But they were on this side of the flood. Now we find out the line of Ham on the other side of the flood, over here, Ham, Shem, and Japheth, the Hamites, are the inventors of almost everything. Yet if you get this Noah's three sons, you will learn a lot about what they invented. They invented almost everything that's in the world. Musical instruments, the blacksmiths, everything. All of that. Just exactly like they did, the line of Cain did before the flood. How many of you knew that before tonight? Anybody? All right, no. All right, well, you learned something tonight then. We have the two lines. We have the line of Cain, and then we have the line of Ham later after the flood, that were heavy into musical instruments and everything. But we can use the musical instruments to serve God and to praise God, just like they can do to praise the flesh. All right. Any other questions?
Well, I know this doesn't pertain to what you're talking about, but at the end time, the people on the white horses that come back, is that the church or is that angels?
The Lord is on the first guy that gets on the white horse in the book of Revelation is who?
Antichrist.
The Antichrist. The second guy that gets on the white Shukawakan is who?
King of Kings.
That's Jesus Christ.
Lord of Lords.
And he will come with his armies on white horses.
Okay, who's the army?
Who's the army of the saints he's bringing with him?
The saints?
I think so, but they're there not so much to fight, but to witness what the Lord does. Do you think that Jehovah needs anybody to fight for him? I think he can do all the fighting with his words. He spoke the world into existence, and he's going to speak it back when he rejuvenates it, when he destroys it, when he purifies it. He's going to put that thing in a forge and heat her up and get rid of all the floss and dross. It'll be nothing but purity, and that's when we get to live in a new world and a new heavens, and it'll be without sin. Isn't that neat? All right. Anything else before I turn you loose on the world? Brother Randall, you want to dismiss us in prayer tonight, brother?
Our God and Father, we thank you for your word. We thank you for those lessons in the original language. Give those of us who
and thank you for putting this up here.
I got you.
As we get exposed to a little of it at a time, I don't want you to bound me with it all in one day. Pretty soon you're going to wonder what it is, and you're going to figure it out.
You
Huh?
have this one?
Yes. Here you go. Thank you.
Oh, okay, so they moved it from,
Did you ever get to look at this, Randall? I've mentioned this before. You want to look at it?
Sarah was Abraham and Sarah.
No.
And God told them they would have.
I gave up. I sent it in